Mhm. Sweet and sour. The good news and the bad news for today. We're not talking. I bring to you a distraction for Tuesday, which might already feel like the end of the week for those that are homeschooling their children as we speak. Hey, Dan Pierce, how you going, mate? Dan PB, sorry. Personal best, Dave D. It's about you today. Congratulations, mate. Oath or affirmation, did you get it right? Or did you forget the words as they were coming out, despite the fact that someone had told you? Put your hand up, oath or affirmation, repeat after me. We'll see. We've got L49. G'day, buddy. Lauren, who's slapping her own heart in comments. Not necessarily good news for her either. I found out her little granddaughter has got a broken collarbone after trying to be ambitious and go for her Red Bull certification off the swing set. We've got Michael Ledger here. We've got Timmy Doust. Hola, ¿cómo estás, mister? Been watching too much Dora. We've got Fugly. Your name is broken down, bro. What's going on? What's a good age to retire from army? Oh, mate. Sometime after 10, sometime before 30. I reckon once you're in for 15, mate, you're basically in there for good, depending on what your qualifications is. Pilot, maybe not. Otherwise, I'd say yes. I'm going to whack this on so I can hear you. Oh, hear you a bit better. Yeah, that's a really tough one. What's a good age? I've been for 24 years, and I never asked to leave. It's a tough one. I'd say after 15 years, you're almost there for good. After 20 years, I'd say you are there for good. Train 155. Hey, buddy, how you going? Fergie, Kurt Jenkins. Hey, mate. And also retiring from the military at this stage with the current climate. I don't mean the temperature. You'd be a fool to get out. Right? Paulie L. G'day, buddy. How you going? Great to have you here. Paulie is one of the best drawers that I've ever seen. Him and Lauren are our artists of the channel. Fantastic job he does. Can make a horse look more realistic than a horse. We've got Katie Baker here, the lovely Katie Baker, a little bit of Fleetwood Mac looking Katie Baker. KB, good to have you here, dear. And we've got Maddie Dowsett again. Lauren, soft spot for the ladies there. Slapping the heart again. Well done. And guess who else we've got? Medic! And rightly so, because today we may or may not have JC, a local Thin Blue Line representative who's just had, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, an unsuccessful shoulder surgery in these times that was blown out by a perp in doing his job. In the action required of our law enforcement domestically to keep us away from the wolf, so to speak. So what can we say? Sweet and sour news tonight. We've got Dave D, Jay Hayes over there, represent, not cerebral palsy. How's Western Australia going? WAD01, Joseph Barker, Hannibal Barker, JC, hi Kaz and team. I'm glad you could be here, JC. I wanted to ring you last night, but I could tell coming out of the operation that you would have all phases of emotion going through you, mate. The bringer of bad news that doctors can give you as well as good news is it can be very hard to take when you're coming out of anesthetic, and I thought maybe your family's going to be around you, so I respected your time. Sadly, within a 24-hour period, we finally got the accidental amputee, Dave D, successfully to his oath or affirmation, who is now officially an officer cadet, which is pretty much the lowest scumbag in Australia until he gets to Kapuka. And then he's going to get the very, very hard temptation after doing his first module to say, I don't know if I want to be an officer. I just want to get dirty. I just want to be in a position where I can play with the tools and be an Army Reserve enlisted soldier instead of the hard yakka, never congratulated, other than from us, of course, tries to become an Australian Army Reserve officer. Nutsu Cow to Dave D. Fantastic effort there, mate. You made it onto a thumbnail. Well done. JC, on the other hand, on the flip side, got bad news. and I am sorry. And where that goes from here, I don't know, mate. But we're with you, and tonight is a distraction for you, mate. Wait 2 seconds, Tim. I've got someone outside. You there? Short work of him, just a burglar. JC's having another surgery Wednesday week. I know it sounds stupid, but you wish they'd operate on the other shoulder to give this one a bloody break. Tough news. Look after yourself, JC, and we're here for you, mate. Thin blue line. If there's anything we can do, let us know. And I'm sure we will. JC, well done, Dave. You now reach the title of being called brother by your fellow veterans. That's it. As soon as you swore your oath or affirmation, everything that happens after that, a lot of it is outside of your ability. Therefore, we call you brother from the start and not before. Dewey Curtis, Paul Yells says, JC, did you think you were passing over when you heard Kaz's voice as you came out of the anaesthetic? No, I didn't ring him, Paulie. I just messaged him. Lauren says, Jay Hayes, I've been binge watching Alter. It's all Kaz's fault. Nutsu Cow 1. But that's 2. Alter is a fantastic site you need to go to for a distraction, for a binge. 249 short films, all focused around grotesque horror as the theme. Love it. JC will get to watch all of that too. Lauren, that was pretty tame. I'm not sure. G. William, that was not tame, fugly. You must be a sick bastard if you thought that was no big deal. That has scarred my brain. William Crask. Oh, everyone, just saw the Minister of Queensland Police on TV talking about the crackdown on people in Queensland. He looks about 12 years old, must have so much experience. Good skin products. We've got Danny P. beat in Australia versus US in war. Who would win, honestly? Well, US would kick our ass, but that's because of size, technology, etc. But whenever we've done exchanges with the US, we beat them at everything. Man-to-man sort of stuff. You know, so we'd hold our own more than enough. But that would never happen. Anglo-Saxon countries tend not to fight each other. You know, Christian value countries tend not to fight each other. We sort of know how to shake hands or be a bit of respectful, more respectful, you'd imagine, in these trying times. It's good to see that a lot of the ventilator machines look like they might be getting flown into what is now known as the city with the sirens that never stop, Italy, from other countries. So it's the first time I've actually seen where people are able to potentially dig in deep and help another country rather than pull our resources into ourselves, which is normal, tribalism, normal, okay, and it's the right thing to do. But when you find you've got a little bit more that you can give away, then so be it. Help where you can. And we're seeing a lot of patriotism happen where expat doctors, medical staff are flooding back to their countries to do what they can at the front line, which is where the Mexican drink is, to fight this Chinese flu, this Wuhan flu. Make no mistake, that's what it is. Let's not get it lost between the lines. Jaden Anderson, really enjoyed their animated content. Was that, which one was that for, Jaden? Hey, Dewey Curtis is enlisting in June. Wait 2 seconds. I'll go back up there. I'll get it back up. One blue pill, and here I go. And have already completed PFA, but need to do another one in April. Yep. Hope that goes ahead. At the moment, Dewey, we have had some bad news. One of our subscribers has said that his PFA got called off for some reason for that day. So I don't know what's going on there, but recruiting has been going as per normal, with Kapuka isolating platoons from each other as a quarantine measure, but not from each other within the platoon. As soon as yours has said, okay, no one here has been contaminated, boom, no dramas. And they can go about your normal day. Kurt Jenkins, but if it does have all my practice PFAs they should be able to use, it doesn't work that way, mate. It goes to the PFA just before you go in to make sure you're ready to go. The reason why they do more than one PFA is because the absolute pathetic fitness of the average Australian now. It is disgusting, disgusting. this is sounding a little bit nasty, but people who join the army, to me, if you fail a PFA, 1 year, go away 1 year automatically. You knew the standard, you knew the result, you had time to train, you haven't taken it seriously. It's impossible. This is your dream job. Impossible if you fail a PFA. Tells you exactly how to do it. We never had a single thing like that when we joined the military, and we were doing chin-ups and everything. And you get one thing wrong, back squatted like that. And there was no don't cry for me, Argentina, when we did fail. It was just see you later. Don't look back. Original flavour. Oh, that's uncomfortable. I feel fine now. My temperature is normal now. Riley, hey, Kaz, just did my U session and look forward to my secondary assessment. Just wanted to say cheers. I've been watching your videos to help me get through. Riley, great to have you here, mate. Looking at these videos seems to really, really give people the outside edge. Everyone I know that comes to In the Trenches with Kaz ends up being the same guy or gal that is sending me the messages a week after getting to Kapooka going, holy shit, you should have seen some of the people that turned up that never heard of your channel. More than 10% of people that get into Kapooka successfully, which means it's impossible to fail other than attitude or a Dave D incident where you have a low altitude jump from a tree, where they end up leaving of their own choice. I want to get out of here. You can't, what? I thought this was your dream job the last few weeks, the year and a half it took you to get here. Come on, team. Come on. As long as you watch the videos that we put out, the only way you can truly fail, is by an act of God, falling out of a tree, spiral fracture off a 6-foot wall, or you just saying, I can't do it. And that'd be sad because it's still another person's position as well. Dewey, hopefully that's why I've probably earned myself a couple of thumbs down now from people that might have been, might not have made it through in the past, but, we can't polish a turd here, team. We've got to say it the way it is. We've got, where are we? Dan PB deleted by Fugly. What did he say? I agree, Kaz. If you want to be in the job and fail, then 1 year later, that's fine. We say the same to someone if they are not able to communicate to the questions processes clearly. It's they're not yet prepared or too immature to go forward or psychologically unfit. They're the three ways we say. Now, they might not tell you, but I'll tell you something that happens. When you walk through that door, there is an attitude test. When you go for your U session, they will look at your physique. Not going to feel your arms, Mr. Weinstein there. They're going to look at the shape of your body. Do you look more corn chip, inverted, wide triangle for wide shoulders coming down to thinner hips, or do you look like a corn chip that is sitting on its base, equilateral triangle, where you've got a thicker hips than what you have shoulders? Because I'd be reluctant to give you a job if it's that way. That's too much work for me to do already. From there, I'm going to look at the way you're dressed and think, holy shit, either this guy needs a job really badly, let's get him in some uniform as quickly as possible because he can hardly afford clothes without a bloody hole in them, or I might say this guy might not just care at all. The way you turn up, the way you answer questions. What are your three choices? I've only got one. Then you've made it goddamn hard for me to help you, haven't you? Right? If people turn up and they have attitude, it might be we've got someone with a personality trait that won't mix with teamwork. They can find out very quickly from a conversation beside a coffee van, just like anyone can for any role, for any job, civilian or military, police, Air Force, Navy. Yeah. Anyone with a few times around the block, a bit of age up about them, a bit of wisdom, will be able to see straight through you. We'll be able to see the blowhards too, and we can see through that. Lauren, ask your priest, Dan, and please don't overuse emoticons to get Kaz's attention. I'm not sure what that's about. Ask your priest. I'd love to see what that one's about. JM, James McIntosh. That's an intelligent sounding guy. No, I've gone through this all before back in 2018 and barely heard anything. So going through it again now, second assessment day on Thursday, and I've been in contact with them every day. That's the way. Become the squeaky wheel, and they're more likely to go, let's get this guy on his way into a uniform so he leaves us alone. I like your tactic. It's like a kid. Can we go to McDonald's, Dad? Can we go to McDonald's, Dad? No. Can we go to McDonald's, Dad? Yes, okay, if you shut up and have the iPad in between. JC, those who join and are not 100% ready then you need to learn that recruiting stands for you'll need to use it. And the thing is, the less prepared you are, remember, you're not the one that's just going to get your ass kicked. Everyone around you will get kicked on your behalf. Listen to my video on the promise, the pledge between you and your buddy. And if they've made that pledge to you, you're laughing. You can't fail. Train 155, Elegant Games. The other day I saw a video of Americans mocking the Anzacs. I would imagine that would be ignorance, pure ignorance only. And I've never heard anyone from the US military bagging Australian forces. I've worked with them a lot of times. I've competed against them a lot. The nicest country that I've ever done exchanges for, in every case, was US. And US were nicer than Canadians. Go figure. PK, Brisbane PFA, still going ahead on 28th of April. Just not an indoor sports session. Okay. Any more turd burglary, Catonius? Oh, for those that don't know, Catonius, tell me if I got this wrong, but Catonius had an open day for his property or whatever. I hope I'm not wrong here. And someone came in to check the place wearing a Bane, get over here mask, hardly spoke, used his shit house, left a log, a bomb, so to speak, and then out of the village. They just left with a Kinder Surprise with no wrapping. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Dave D, put it this way, I recognise my enlistment clerk coordinator by her voice today and vice versa. That's a bit freaky, Dave. I hope Erin's not listening. Paulie Elsa's happy 99th birthday to the RAF today. 31st March 1921. Don't you dare moderate this comment. Happy birthday to our Air Force. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear RAF. You're doing better than Jetstar. Too soon? The day that Jetstar is being told we need a bailout? How weird is that? You need a bailout. I don't remember you ever cutting me a cheap price when I didn't have the money to get to somewhere I wanted to be. But in saying that, if the deal works and it turns out that Australia gives them a bonus to bail them out, and that means that they can't pay it in 3 years and we become part owners of that network, then so be it. That'd be a good thing for Australia. Better than selling something for a change. Catonius didn't even wash his hands. The side turned up unannounced 40 minutes early too. That's gold. You can't even be angry at that. That's almost impressive. Aaron Neves laid some cable for free. He did. Cable Guy. That's one of my favourite movies, Cable Guy. The best. If you want a morale boost, then that's the one to go to. Kurt says that's the very last thing I got ticked off. I got locked out of my account. I'm not sure what that was about. Timmy reckons it was a turd burglar. Must have been a Raffy with a bomb to let go. Bombs away. And what does our local medic say? Michael Stott says, joke, I went to a restaurant and ordered the chicken. I asked how to prepare the chicken. The waiter said, we do nothing special. We just tell the chicken you're going to die. Not bad. Not too bad. Did you hear about Ricky Ponting getting done for racism because he had some multicultural people over to play cricket to get past this coronavirus, Chinese virus, Wuhan virus, and he got in trouble for saying to the guy, is it your bat? Hey, pretty shit, eh? I made that one up myself. What are the videos you were talking about watching before? What were basically everything I got out from this channel there, Riley? I think it was the last video I did a couple of days ago was the video on the pledge, the promise, okay, that you need to make to your buddy, your room buddy, to make sure that everything you do is for them. It's like a wedding while it's still working sort of thing. This is a sound for all of those. This sound, if you were to hear this on operations and you weren't in the Air Force, where they'd get more than these they could drink a day and probably complain about the heat of them, happy birthday, Raf, You won't see one of these very often, and when you do, it's probably going to have toenail skin on it, a cigarette butt, and it's probably laying on its side, covered by the residue of the ones that snapped and burst open. But listen to this. It's like magic. Oh, ASMR right there. Kind of strong. That's fantastic for YouTube while you're having your young fella in the military on the RAF's birthday. So I'm not sure if they're doing anything. They're not even getting an opportunity, are they, to be able to celebrate that birthday? Candidate hub's been hacked by the Chinese. Problem is you want to do it an hour later. That was about my security clearance case. Dresden look like ping pong. It made Dresden look like a ping pong match. Oh, what was that? Oh, the turd. Ugh. I just had some tacos, so it's put me in the mood. I understand what you're talking about there. Fergie, that was the worst dad joke I've ever heard. Keep it. Use it. Use it on someone else. Has everyone been watching what's been going on with the virus at the moment? It is really, really sad. You know, America hit over 500 cases last night. What I was talking about before with Italy saying it's a city that the sirens never stop is because basically every second of the day, every second, you can hear in the city the sounds of sirens as people are getting picked up and brought into the hospitals and hotbedding with the people that are basically passing away. It's every 2 or 3 minutes someone dies over there. It's over 919 yesterday, and almost every day before that. And Spain has caught up and overtaken them. I couldn't imagine how tired those workers must be in those hospitals, and also how scared it must be for the Americans in New York who are waiting for the storm to occur. When you have more than enough doctors like they do at the moment, more than enough ventilators than what they need at the moment, but no, potentially it may not be enough. They had the USS Comfort, which is the hospital military ship, the Navy ship, pull into the harbour today, which would have been a fantastic icon of hope for those in the US. And I really, really hope that they're able to control the curb so it doesn't get to the stage where it's unsustainable. We're seeing a lot of patriotic, hardworking hero doctors also succumb and pass away. And there's a significant amount of those that have lost their lives fighting this virus. So to all of those, I raise a can and salute to all of those that are volunteering, all of those who are working on the front line against this insidious disease, sickness, which people don't really understand the scope of what it can do. To put things in perspective, if we're talking about a mortality rate 1 or 2, whatever they're saying it is, but you're losing 900 and something a day, then that means there has to be more than 10,000 a day. More than 100,000 cases per 1,000 that die. So no one even knows the true numbers because you're not tested. You stay at home. You just don't go and infect other people. We don't know if Wuhan at the moment, which has had bat soup, anyone, the fighting that's happening in China at the moment, riots attacking people from the Hubei and the Wuhan provinces that have been told they can go out and get away from where they are now. They're being told no by the greater community. And again, we're not sure really what's happening. So across the world, I understand it could be you next. We've got some great incentives in Australia. Maybe we've missed a bullet. I don't want to speak too early. Hopefully we've dodged a bullet on this one. We saw the $750 stimulus package go out to a hell of a lot of people that needed it today. I've got some friends that have already donated theirs to other corporations and groups as we speak. All I'd say is don't hold on to it, but don't give it away just yet either. Give it away now, because you don't know what your tomorrow is going to look like either. It's a tough one. It really is a tough one, and we don't know how we're going to be affected. It is great to see the incentive. I don't know how we're going to bloody pay for it on keeping the people employed by their employers with that cash stimulus package going to the bosses as well to keep their staff on. I think it's beautiful. I never would have thought about that. It's great. Where we're really going to fall down is what's happening in between. The conversations that are going to be happening with our landlords / our rental agencies with renters with banks, because it has to start from the bank end. And I don't think they're going to do it, where the bank has to turn around and say, we're suspending your mortgage repayments on the proviso that you also suspend the rent payments. If that all happened like that as a flow down effect, we'd kind of be okay. If the bank says no, at the end of the day, the individual is paying the rent can turn around and go, it's like a cop wanting to give you a $5,000 fine for spitting on someone. You can go, big deal. If you took $5,000 away from that $5,000 fine, that's how much money I've got. I've got none, so you can't take it. It'll be like rental people saying, you can't make me pay the rent because I haven't got it to pay. But I guess what? The banks will definitely come after people that are landlords that don't pay the money on time, And what a lot of people may not realize is when you have houses, I had 5 at one stage, made no profit, that your renters don't pay your house off for you, nowhere near it. It's very rare to have a positively geared house. Normally you're paying rent somewhere while also paying all your repayments on top of the rent that's getting paid by sometimes some really shitty tenants. And you never cut even. It's absolutely a nightmare, because this is one of the first times in the century, in the last century as well, where we haven't actually had inflation that has allowed our houses to move with our wages, etc., except in Sydney and Melbourne. An example of that is 4 out of the 5 houses I had for nearly 20 years, 4 of them sold for below build cost. You know what that means? Build cost and fees on top of that. I sold my houses for below what it cost to even build them. And people still had the balls. And that was 20 years nearly after buying them. You could say, oh, but you bought them in a bad area. No, at the time they were considered mint. Mackay, the jewel of the North Queensland. Toowoomba was fantastic, but then the floods happened. Maitland in Newcastle. It's touch and go. What have we got? Timmy Dowse. Also really good to see a clampdown on foreign buyers looking to prey upon our businesses. Yeah, it'll be a tough one, mate. What? This one's here. Come here. Come here. I'm coming. Yeah. Sorry, she's got my heart. And she would have said hello to Lauren if she could have. Team, the reason why we called this Sweet and Sour tonight is because everyone across the world, all of you guys here and gals that are in comments, there's so many people getting bad news at the same time people are getting good news. There is so many people doing it hard at home at the moment, working from home. They're also trying to home teach their own children, sharing a computer. Yeah, it's a tough one. And I tell you, as someone who's home teaching their kid at the moment, they don't give the same respect to dad and mum as what they give to their teacher, that's for sure. Because you're still the play guy. Oh, Dad, can we go and do this instead? Can we watch Alter? You're 8 years old, only 2 episodes. Neville Bartos, hey, everyone, I'm late, but I made it. Neville bloody Bartos, good to have you here. We've only been going for half an hour. It's fine. You're here for at least half of it. Timmy Doust, Wuhan flu is sweet and sour pork. Bat or aardvark. Paulie L, that's great news. We are lucky to have a strong banking sector to enable these repayment freezes. Oh, okay, so there has been some reprieve. It hasn't come to, it's only gone to commercial, but it hasn't been passed down to renters, which are probably, it's a tough one. I think the banks should have stood up by now. We've looked after our banks. They've ripped us off for so goddamn long. It's not funny. I think this was their time to show us their true colours, and they are rat. Paul, that's and who watches UFC here? Thumbs up if you do. Put it over there. It looks like the Ferguson-Khabib fight is again called off. It's killing me. I've been waiting for that fight. It's like 5 times it's been postponed. Paddy Divers, Australia will be like Ireland and Spain, paying back the IMF for decades for the loans they are taking to keep the economy afloat. Let the banks go bust, vicious circle. Yeah. JC, my wife is a nurse at a private hospital and hasn't been getting any shifts. It's crazy. It is. And JC, do you know that Navy ship that's in the? I think it's quite tricky the way they've done this. The military naval vessels, the Comfort and what's the other one called? Chase, where is he? Paulie would know. Lauren would know. Stoddy should know. They've got the Comfort and what's the other one? And Central Park is now a triage location too. But the hospital ships, they're being used for people without coronavirus. It's being used for your normal Joe Blows, your people like JC getting his shoulder done, so they can quarantine you there away from getting the virus, which is fantastic. Stoddy started playing strip poker by himself, but you can only lose a few times before you think, I've seen all this before. That, Paulie, surprisingly, we've got quite a lot of work kicking off. I wasn't expecting things to be so buoyant. Hope it lasts. I'd like to remain independent through this. Well done. That's great news. As we said, tonight is called Sweet and Sour. We got a little bit more sweet there with Paulie. Fantastic. Dave D, he knew, and so he should. He's our newest officer in training, the Mercy, and that's because he's going to want some when he goes through training. Old bastard he is. Burnt thong. Google knows what the ship is called. Google knows almost everything. Comfort is in New York, I believe. Yep, that's true. That's great. Paulie, sorry I missed the question. It's okay. USN, US Mercy. Wouldn't that be weird being a civilian and then getting put onto another cruise? And you know it's going to be bloody professional on that boat too. The staff at my station are working their asses off, says JC. Hope for the ADF supplement the police at the border crossings. I'll tell you what I reckon is going to happen, JC. There might be a mass migration from cops that want to go over to the ADF, or want to join the Army Reserve after having the military guys and gals working alongside them. A lot of them would already be. Does a cop do a double shift if he's a police officer and an Army Reservist already? William Krask, I agree, Billy. I agree, mate. They lied to the world, and I don't know what you're saying there, mate. Chase those ducks. Army today, Kapuka. Is that a statement? I don't know. Neville Bartos. Hats off to all the police and emergency service in these crazy times. Absolutely. And we're seeing those weird cases, people spitting, misbehaving, etc. It's out of control, and I thought better of Australians, but what can we do? I live in a beautiful suburb, and I walk around now, and there is garbage and shit everywhere. And I believe it's from blow-ins that want to come from their dirty shitholes and then want to come over to clean locations to go for a walk around, but then they don't understand the law of the land that when you're in a nice suburb, there's less litter, there's less clatter, there's less crime. I don't know how people can walk along and just throw their KFC box on the ground and their Pepsi can, the devil's drink, or throw full nappies, like I've seen a few times very recently at the playgrounds over here. Disgusting. There's bins. They just choose to do it. I have my gym at home. This is the golden age for loners and misanthropes like myself, says Catonius. Well done, the gentleman from the First Fleet and Rome. Lauren is a silly chicken, a euphemism. Yes, who is that, Barbie? He's got me completely bamboozled, turned around and confused. I've never seen the conversations in comments just going in so many directions at once, different directions. Nova Silky Chicken, and she's super clucky. She'd hatch anything. That's right, the ducks. Weinsteining the chickens lately. Kaz, do you think Kapooka will close? Absolutely not, PK. Under no circumstance. They've had contaminations there before. Even, PK, you may not have realised that when the flu goes through in Kapooka, it'll quarantine the platoon, and sometimes the entire platoon will be withdrawn from training, and then everything will be put off by 1 week. But what that does, it affects the entire program, the spreadsheet, which is all geared from when it starts to when it concludes, and it's all automated on computer systems, and forecast dates within training applications, and it also locks into IT trainings, so you get there a week before courses commence, etc. So it's not a common thing. It's not an uncommon thing for a quarantine to occur. Okay, we can't not ramp up the training. Another example is if we go through one of the actions that if we go into a minefield and then we start getting shot at, you're to take it that the minefield is not there anymore and you fire and move through it. If you lose more people to mines, oh well, that's better than just staying there, getting stuck and all dying anyway. So the greater evil gets looked after. If we're getting shot at, disregard the mines, fight forward, and hopefully you get through. Same deal. They've got procedures. If someone gets sick, it might lock down an entire platoon, but the platoons are segregated from each other. No foul. There were multiple gastro outbreaks when I was at 1RTU. Whole flights of recruits were quarantined. There you go. Thank you, JC. What I've seen locally, Jaden, what I've seen locally has disgusted me. About what? Jay still need oh, you mean, do you mean people's behaviour? Yeah. There were multiple gastro, and you know what? And sometimes we actually don't know what spurns on those, that behaviour too. Sometimes it might be, I wouldn't actually know. I don't do it. When my chips are down, I don't go out and start throwing garbage on the ground. But not everyone has been brought up with fantastic mentors like I have. Paddy Diver says, on large gatherings, we're suspending our march out parades until further notice. Yep. This includes any previously planned live stream events. Our behaviours as part of an army must conform with. And it's not even that. It is more important. Army needs, country needs, that platoon is not it is not contaminated by outsiders that have brought that in. These guys might go from Kapooka, for example, and they might go straight to a holding area where, as an Australian soldier, not as an IET, before IETs can potentially be used by an all-corps Australian soldier to go and do domestic duties, so to speak. And they may do that. And they can't do that if they're contaminated, can they? There was when we were in Rwanda, there was Ebola, on the borders, and that made no difference to us. One of the worst diseases in the history of man, bleeding out of eyes and all sorts of shit, mixed with an undisciplined, great unwashed that were the people of Rwanda, Zaire, etc. at the time. And I don't think we took any precautions, which is pretty bloody horrible when you think about it. Australia had heard about it. It was all in the papers. Ebola in Africa. Yeah, well, Australian forces were there, and we came back and we weren't screened. We weren't screened, and we were sent back here on Rockall, which is your leave in the middle of your deployment. And we came back here, no troubles at all, no screening whatsoever. So if we'd have brought that back here, interesting. Do you watch BYM, Kaz? I could see you and Bispin getting on. BYM. I'm not sure what that is. Real field families unable to participate in their loved ones' enlistment ceremonies and march outs. Yeah, it is sad, and it is hard. It is hard, but it'll be all right. They'll have an IT one as well. The sad thing with that, Paulie, is it used to be a really, really big event. Each unit would have its own birthday each year, and it'd be a 2.5 hour parade where people could come to at battalion environments, brigade environments, etc. And we'd see the regalia all the time, but that was in the absence of paperwork, in the absence of computers, so to speak, back in the day before mobile phones existed. And then that all came in, and a lot of the customs and traditions all phased out. Yeah. It's sad when people actually get their families come to Kapooka, and I'm not talking about under the trying times we're under now, but people don't actually give that respect to their family that have come all the way, paid a fortune to come and stay in Wagga Wagga, beautiful town. And all they want to do is hang around with their mates to say goodbye to them before they go. And I was guilty of that too. So sorry to mum and dad. There was a woman named Cheney who I had a bit of a hots for, one of the first female platoons. Well, they weren't with us, but they were a sister platoon, so we didn't see them except at the boozer after we got blue tabs. And, I could have spent a bit more time with my family than what I did that night, and I apologise for that, and I do feel guilty about that. Brody Higgins, hi guys. Not sure if it's been asked, but I just got home. DFR tells me they won't conduct PFAs until the virus blows over. So what does that mean for intakes? Well, that's a real interesting one, because intakes have to keep going ahead. This is not a big deal in the grand scheme of things for military. We've got to do the same if we're getting shot at. I know you can't fight through being sick, I guess, but it's a tough one. Yeah, you're right there, Jay Hayes. Where's Mr. P? Is he here tonight? We haven't seen him. I watched Trilogy of Terror the other day. It's an old show, but still good. I'm not even sure what that one's about. Neville Bartos. It's PK. Brody Brisbane PFA confirmed for 28 April by recruiting today. There you go. It might be just yours, mate. I'm wondering if you're getting told the full truth. Maybe it could be your office. Dave. Hey, David, how you going, mate? Paulie L was interesting, that's for sure. It felt super intimate being only one other candidate, female, myself and DFR. Felt like they were marrying us. That's gold. If you ever get a chance to go and see an enlistment ceremony, just to join the military, it's pretty bloody good. It's pretty emotional seeing the families, how much it means to them. It's a real heart warming event, and I like it. You guys do realise the doll is G. William, the one behind me. You're talking about the one up the back here, which is dedicated to Seinfeld. You're talking about the one straight here, which is Derek, which is the doll I play with my daughter with, because I wasn't going to play with a bloody girl's doll. Or we're talking about Hillary Clinton up the back here with the bloody with the Egyptian eye makeup on. Everything's got a reason in this room. You could probably take a photo when I do a daytime stream and have a look what's in the back and go, what the hell is that? And there's some interesting stories, let me tell you. It is Derek, Lauren. PK, Kaz, you'll have to get a Joe Biden doll. How's his cracker line? Poor kids can be as smart as white kids. You're going, imagine if Trump had said that. Who the fuck is Derek? That was the name that I made for the boy doll, because in the absence of my daughter listening to me, I thought, well, how do you skin a cat in a different kind of way? So what I did is I made fictitious Derek, who talks to her promiscuous bloody Barbie. And what I do is basically I tell her about life and stuff, but through Derek, and she agrees with him. If Dad says it, doesn't agree. If Derek says it, got to listen. After this isolation business is done, so do you think that once people are set free, people are going to want to talk money and be friendly? No, I don't. I don't at all there, Stoddy. I think there's going to be a whole lot of, but what about me? But what about thems? It's going to be terrible. And there'll be some really legit claims, mate. There really will be. It's going to be pretty sad. It'll be interesting times, mate. And it's going to take, as someone said before, potentially decades for some people to catch up, while others come out flush. I won't mention Woolworths and Coles. Yeah, I saw that today, Billy. The CNN reporters disrespecting Mr. Trump, saying he's got blood on his hands. You feel like going, dude, you got some pretty tough people that are looking back that are behind him that must be wanting to come down there and close his bloody shit trap for the way he's talking to his leader, who has got an impossible job at the moment and seems to be doing a bloody good job at that. The numbers don't necessarily mean you've done something wrong. And remember, they're Democrat states that all seem to be suffering too. It was sad to see that one of the reasons why the massive situations happening with Italy and Spain is because of the soccer game that they had. A major soccer game, sold out crowd, where it was half Spanish, half Italian. They came, partied together for the game. Then all of them went home as vectors. Terrible, absolutely terrible. Make Derek talk while you drink your Coke. I'm not that skilled, mate. I can't talk underwater, although I did look at buying one of those diving, fully integrated face masks so that I could talk underwater. Tim, the cow count is 2. It is. Nutsu cow, now 3. There you go, mate. Boom, boom. Brady's getting down with Derek. People are going to be asking about him from now on. What are you doing with your spare time? Just out of curiosity, what are you doing with your spare time? Are you looking up something that you could get better at? Are you trying to finish a program? Are you trying to learn an editing tool? Are you working on some of your photography? I don't know. There's plenty of things you can do. It'd be interesting if you could come out of this with a few qualifications you didn't realize you had. I think my next one is going to be 3D motion tracking of text within videos, which means you can actually move it around, swing it in different ways in After Effects, and it looks fantastic. Very, very laboursome, but sort of sucks to get it done. Starting for assessment day and working out to keep up the physical fitness. And James McIntosh, you can do that from home. That easy. JC, I'm clearing the house of one arm. That's not your job when you've just got out of anaesthetic, JC. Grid. No spare time, Kaz. Work in a grocery store. Yeah, you guys be working hard, mate. Yous would be. I'm binging on a stream, eating less and walking more. Did you get a Fitbit, Timmy? Brody, spare time. I still have to work, fortunately / unfortunately. It's better than being at the end of a Centrelink line, mate. That's for sure. What have you been listening to, JC? Brucey M. Hey, Kaz, Lauren and team. Good to have you here, Bruce. They call me Bruce. Remember that old movie? Bruce. PK, team. Have you seen the Greyhound movie trailer? Tom Hanks as a destroyer captain comes out mid-June. No, I haven't. Is this a joke, or is this going to be a joke, or what? I quite like the Navy movies. Not the porn. Listen to lots of metal, Catanias. You're not talking about your shoulder, are you, JC? Too soon. Sorry, buddy. Paulie, PK looks like a good big screen film. I just hope they don't try to overdo things, PK, with less is more when it comes to the military movies. You don't need all the bloody bells and whistles. All you need is a good storyline and good character development you're in, just like a horror story. Isn't that right, Lauren? All you need is kids with a skipping rope wearing their white nightgowns, a play set with unoiled bloody chains on the swing that's from a tree over misty water, and someone that can walk on their hands and legs back to front while speaking in tongues, and you're good. I didn't go and watch Midway, mate. I thought it was going to be too much of a bullshit movie. I'm pretty lucky, Grid, because I've seen a lot of the movies like Midway, and I got spoiled because of my age watching things. Paulie, you'd remember this one, Bar Black Sheep. The movies like the Longest Day, movies like D-Day, Spartacus, Ben-Hur, all of those sort of movies, they're hard to come back to the modern ones. There's just something missing. There's something missing. I think usually it's character development and realism. Spartan Mouth. It's a good name, mate. Year 10 schoolwork and thinking of starting a YouTube to share with kids at school and using this time to get fit. It's a tough genre to get into, mate. You're dealing with some prison-fit blokes from the US that have sort of got to tap in on that, and special forces guys as well. Dave D, I missed Danger Close at the cinemas. It was okay. It was all right. It was worth seeing at the cinemas, but again, was nothing crazy. I don't know if you could do any better than Paulie. Let me know. Anzacs, Light Horseman, Gallipoli, and Band of Brothers. You really can't go past those. You don't need any more than that. You just watch them again. Jim Dog, Casmate, what would be a good distance and time to start running? Good for infantry or clearance diver. Cheers, mate. Running 2 kilometres under 10 minutes. That's fine, mate. That's a good time. I'd say 5 kilometres. You need to be getting that out to 5 kilometres. Push-ups, yep. Cadence push-ups, not speed push-ups. Swimming, as you know, you need to be magnificent at that. The reason why I say push-ups, that is the number one penalty for clearance divers. And infantry, it actually simulates fire and movement. So they're 2 good things. And when you do them with weight attached and the weight of weapons, you need to have a pretty tough chassis in the muscular endurance realms. Chin-ups, dips, fantastic. Can't go past them. You'll fall off the bar before you hurt yourself. Jack Smith, hey Kaz, thanks for the phone call yesterday. Really, mate, made light of things. Jack, it's all fine. It's what we're here for, mate. Look, do you know what? There's another thing you can do that's really good for not just muscular endurance, but pain tolerance, because a lot of military training is about pain tolerance and disguising the pain you're in. And let's get 2 jerry cans, plastic preferably, the 20-litre jerry cans, and just fill those with water. There's a reason why they used it in the PESA within the Army. One of the hardest things, one of the most failed components of the test. And that was simply pick up some jerry cans full of water and just carry them. Straight line. Take some chalk with you or even a little spray can and just where you get to. And then the next time you go there, walk it again. Try to beat that line. At muscular endurance, your arms will get longer. Your wrists will get stronger. Your grip strength will be stronger. Your heart will be stronger. You'll come up with some better excuses on why you failed. It's a really tough test, really tough. It's one of the tests I did for SAS Special Operations for SASR. One of the tests that, I don't know if you know the difference between the New Zealand SASR, what do you call it? The Carter course they do as opposed to ours is most of the things in ours are a mystery. You don't know what's coming next, and that allows your brain just to go, what's happened next? I've got no energy left. I'm screwed. Am I going to make it? Blah, 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 fill in the blank. Well, New Zealand's is the opposite. It tells you exactly what's going to happen, how long it's going to go for, so you can feel the hardest events are looming towards you, getting closer and closer to Austin Powers, okay, like a bloody steamroller, and you know it's coming. And one of those is the jerry can carry. There's a video you can watch on it. It's absolutely horrific. And it's basically for a 24-hour period. And there was only, I think, 9 men left on theirs when they went for it. And it was just pick up your jerry cans and we'll walk in that direction for 24 hours. Just stayed on a bearing for 24 hours, crossing fences, crossing creek lines, crossing, you name it. Whatever comes in front of you, that's your drama. And all you got to do is carry the jerry can. That's it. You know, those guys would have monkey arms since then. It'd be terrible. That they have some, as JC puts down there, first amongst equals, New Zealand SASR. They have got one of the cruelest training environments, like the UK, you know, the Stirling Rangers. And when they go and do their selection courses, it doesn't even need the hard work. It's just the exposure to the elements, cold, wet, hill. The West Coast is horrible. Yeah? Terrible. Just Searching for Warriors was a good video to watch for all that too. Yeah? Then you can save your time and excuses for later. If this goes a bit weird now, it's just came up that the connection's a little bit straight. Team, this was just a distraction tonight. I just wanted to give you somewhere to go. It's what we do. It's no big deal. To some people that are out there, I think Australia, like we said, has dodged a bullet, maybe. And I wanted to outline the fact that Dave D, got great news today, after nearly losing his bloody leg in a 37 centimetre fall, tragic fall in front of his son. But at the same time, this was pivoted by the Snakes and Ladders game, which is life, and that's with JC, who gives 100% to everything he's doing, and has always been a coal-faced guy who has just had his shoulder murked, had an operation, and then they found that what they thought it was not what they thought it was, and now he's saying that he's going to go back for another operation less than 10 days after this one, to go and get what looks like major surgery on his shoulder, and it may affect the rest of his career and his functional movement for the rest of his life. Might walk around with Lego arm. But we're here behind you, JC, and not in a sailor cabin boy kind of way. Thanks for the distraction for me, mate. I could have punched some fucker last night, and I knew, mate. I knew that it would have been a tough one for you. We needed JC on that scalpel. Sorry, Michael Stott. My NBN has gone stupid. Has to change alternate means. My phone. Full reconstruction on Wednesday. There'll be no housework after that one, mate. You're going to be throbbing like a bloody Weinstein ball bag after that. Jackie Turtle. Where is he? G'day, mate. How you going? Mate, we're just about to get out of here. Jack is one of our fantastic, loyal subscribers to this channel too. Guys and gals, if you're new to the channel, let us know with a thumbs up now so we can ask you a question personally. But other than that, we might say goodnight to you so you can go and watch and stay up late and go and watch some Alter, ALTER, 249 episodes worth of binging of short horror films. Jason, take care of yourself, mate. That's okay, Jack. Everyone's got a different life at the moment, mate. Good night, says Lauren. And all the best to your little lady with her broken collarbone. Do whatever you can to look out for her, Lauren. Lovely little thing she is. Oh, Jack. He's got 2 accounts subbed to this channel. That's why I've got 3 subscribers. Can Derek say goodnight? He's saying goodnight now. Look at him. He's already scratching his crutch over there, the filthy bastard. Paulie, great to be here to celebrate your day, Dave. Absolutely it is. JC, take care of yourself, and thank you for your service. Yeah. Thanks for everyone for keeping yourselves in a position where you're keeping your morale up. You know? You can be the strong one within your family when other people tend to be getting their bad news, and sometimes the bad news is overlapping. I think that we've got to be very careful that we don't judge Mr. Morrison too early, because I think he's doing a fantastic job, and I don't mind saying so. It's an impossible job to do at the moment. I don't think anyone would want that job at the moment. And just know there's people working their hardest while you're sleeping to keep you as healthy and to keep you enlightened as much as possible. So stay safe and be the conscience for others. If you've got a friend who's looking a bit down in the dumps, grab them and take them for a cup of coffee. You know, that's a good thing. Take them for a cup of coffee. You know, get them outside. Oh, you're not allowed to do that for a friend, are you? Don't do that. Anyway, we're in full lockdown now. Take it easy, team. Have a good night. And mucho respecto to Western Australia as well. Jay, see you later, buddy. Take it easy. Mum and Dad and Denny saw the marching out parade at Puckapunyal.